YouTube and Instagram and Facebook and everywhere else that you're watching. So happy to be here together today. We're going to have an amazing experience. So get ready because this episode marks the beginning of a brand new series called Game Changer. And I want us to just take a breath together and think about what comes up when you even hear the word game changer. Maybe that's something, and maybe it's a term that you use. Maybe it's a term that isn't, something you're thinking about and talking about a lot of the time. But I got a really, really strong pull about a month ago that this was the energy in which we are going to run in the energy of game changer for at least about the next 8 weeks. So I'm really excited that we are going to get to take this journey together as part of the Rise experience. And I'm thrilled for all of you being here today to explore what this is. We are going to have an amazing guest come up with me in a few minutes to really kick off this series on being a game changer. We're going to be exploring over the course of this series what does that mean to be a game changer? What game do we need to change internally? Because we're going to win whatever game we're playing. That's how I want to start this series off, to let everyone know we are winning whatever game we're playing. And we don't think that's true because we think, well, of course I want to win the success game and the abundance game and the making a huge impact on the people I'm here to serve game and all these things. However, what happens a lot of the time is we are running another game, another story of unworthiness, of visibility fear, of business PTSD, of it's better to hide and stay off the radar. We might be running an invisibility game or a lack and scarcity game. I have to work hard in order to deserve anything good or stay in control. All kinds of other games might be running. We might be playing other games and we will win. We will win the game we're playing. And so being a game changer starts with us changing the game that we're playing if it's not getting us the results we want. And then we're going to be talking through the course of the series about what it's like, and you'll hear from one of an amazing author today, what it's like to write a book that changes the game. And we're going to be exploring what it is to change the game in either our industry, our community, our niche, our world, and why being a game changer and changing the game in these areas allows there to be this compounded win that happens. The win for you is you come and do what you came here to do, which is not to do it the way everyone else does and perpetuate the status quo and hide your light and die with your music still in you. That's not what any of us came here to do, right? And that's your win. And then the win is that the people that get to benefit from the books you write and the talks you give and the work you do and the being more visible on social media and all the things get to win because they get a transformation they wouldn't have had otherwise, that only you can deliver. And the world wins because you've got all those people, you and the people you serve, freer, happier, healthier, more expanded, more in contribution. So we're going to be exploring the way this idea of being a game changer is a win-win-win. All right. So see if that resonates with you. Those of you here in the Zoom room, put game changer in the chat if this feels exciting, if you're excited about this journey together over the next, 6+ weeks. And those of you joining us on all the places on Spotify and Apple and YouTube and everywhere you're watching this and listening to this, put it in the comments so we can celebrate I want to know who our game changers are that are going to be running with me and with this community over the next weeks of this series. All right, I'm excited. I'm very excited and honored to do that. So I'm going to bring up the amazing and brilliant Carol Look. Carol is the author of the best-selling in many, many categories all over the world now, the Yes Code, that came out this fall, instant bestseller. And Carol is speaking in Australia coming up in the new year on this book. She is leading her amazing, amazing series using EFT, emotional freedom technique, and tapping. Carol, you are one of the top tapping experts in the world, trained with the person who invented tapping. And so we're so thrilled to have you here. You obviously are, you're beloved and known in our Thought Leader Academy community. And for those of you that don't know Carol, get excited because Carol, you're one of the people helping us change the game. So thanks for being here.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here with your group, my group, your group.
Yes, our community. Okay, so let's for anyone that doesn't know the Yes Code, it came out in October. Why did you write this book? Right? You're already speaking, you have a huge community, you've been leading trainings around the world, you're renowned in your field, but you wrote this anyway. Why don't let's start with the book and why?
I would say the subtitle, Transforming Sabotage into Success, is what people are sick and tired of not being able to do.
Right.
So I tell in the my story part, I say, why was I a procrastinator, a people pleaser, a perfectionist, a clutter? Why did I have all these huge
Yeah.
behaviors that get in our way? And our community, our world is very obsessed with behavior, and we need to go to the feelings and the beliefs. And the best tool I have found in 25 years, right, is tapping to rewire the brain so that you're not afraid of the outcome. And that's why you procrastinate, so that you're not afraid of getting rid of your addictions, right? So that you're not afraid of, taking care of yourself, because your life's going to really change when you take care of yourself. I mean, things are going to pop. So I really wanted to reach a larger audience because I've been doing this for years, and it was time,
Yeah.
and gave me the structure. I went to your boot camp last January, and there was the structure. It's like, oh, that's how you write a real book. Oh, okay. So
Like, oh my goodness. And what's so exciting, how is it, what's different? Because again, you came in already as an expert and then you wrote like we joke the real book or the book or that kind of, so you've written this book. You had, what was it? 1,200, 1,500 people sign up for your book launch, your online book launch. You led that into a series of people, doing the deeper work. And Carol leads a series pretty much every quarter where people are able to actually like do the work, do that tapping work and have it facilitated. So what's changed because of doing the book? I mean, it's only been 2 months, but still, what's changed?
I would say the first thing that changed was inside. It's like, oh my gosh, I did it. Oh
Yeah.
my God, it's complete. There was something, I think my husband took a video when the box came, the old joke about when
Yeah.
the box came, and I'm not crying, but I said, oh my God, it's real. And he's taking his little video. And so it really feels exciting to put it all in one place, not to have a program here, a pamphlet here and a audio here. It's like, get it in one place.
Yeah.
And so that was the inside part that was so exciting. And then of course the
Yes.
Times Square with your book up in lights, even though I'm a New Yorker, was something unbelievable. And then, I'm getting emails from people. Oh my God, I just found your book. Someone wrote me last night from Amsterdam. Oh, I'm from Amsterdam and I just read your book and thank you so much. And
Yeah.
so I am reaching new people who would never, even though I have a big community already,
Yeah.
they'd never find it. So people are finding it and saying, huh, I didn't know that. And that is, you would not sabotage yourself if it was not protecting you and keeping you safe. And people, the light bulb was going up. You're like, no one has ever asked me those questions. Oh,
Yeah.
that's why I'm sabotaging, because I'm afraid. Oh, so that's exciting. That's what I've wanted to get out more to more.
Yes.
So,
Yes, absolutely. Because you can then have more people come in and do the series and work with you. Carol and I are actually going to, on the after as we go through Game Changer, right? That's going to be the next couple months. And then Carol, you and I are actually going to teach the Success Breakthrough, where we're going to combine all our superpowers and actually do some more game changing experiential work together in 2025 around this. So let's talk about, Carol, what game needs to be changed the most? Like when you're a day in and day out, you're listening to people, what do they come to you for tapping on? When we think about we're always winning the game we're playing, like you said, if the game is self-protection, that
yes.
might show up as procrastination, show up as avoidance, show up as addiction. Like that's just we're trying to help ourselves. What game do you see as the game that most needs to change at this sort of pivotal moment in our culture, our history, our world, our time of year?
I'm not sure if I'm answering the question right, but I would say the belief game around you have what it takes and you're worth it.
Okay.
So, for instance, in the book or in the series, I'll talk to someone and they'll say, oh, okay, I'll help them come up with a new belief that they will follow, because I say beliefs are compulsive. What do
Okay.
you mean? You can't not follow your beliefs.
Sure.
You have to, right? And they get the new belief and then they don't stick to it. So they
Mm,
get a belief that is short enough, succinct enough, and absolutely they know it will change the game. And then 3 days later, they, oh, huh, what was that belief you gave me? So
right.
we need to change that so deeply in our interior
Yeah.
we say, oh, I do have what it takes. Oh, I am good enough. Oh, I do deserve this. Oh, you know, I I am meant for this kind of success. And everybody gets to define their own success. That's what I like. It's not about
Yes.
me. This is what success would you, is it about being a better partner? Is it about being a better daughter? Is it about being a better, business person? Whatever it is, a better author, you get to define your success,
Yeah.
and you must change your beliefs to match it. Yes, we can work on the fears, the fear of visibility, all those fears.
Sure.
Right? But if you don't change the beliefs, you're less afraid about being out there and being visible, but your belief still says nobody from my family is ever successful.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody like me. I'm too old to do fill in the
Right.
blank. I'm too something.
Yep.
I don't have the right connection. So if you don't change the beliefs, you can do a whole lot of work and it doesn't stick.
Yes, I love. So I want everyone to write this down. One of your first steps in changing the game is examining and changing the beliefs to match the game you want to win, right? Because as you said, Carol, I mean, because beliefs come from our identity and identity drives behavior, right? Those of you in Thought Leader Academy, we've trained on this so many different ways and different, different retreats and different experiences. So I love this, Carol, that we've got to, if we're going to be game changers, we are working at the level of belief. And anyone that hasn't done, tapping EFT, the subconscious mind responds to repetition, right? It responds to repetition. So we can't just, like Carol said, say once, I now believe I'm worth it, and then think that we're going to line everything up and we're going to feel confident and we're going to, like, no, that's going to the gym, lifting one weight and saying, why don't I have like shredded arms? It's just, we know that's ridiculous in terms of changing our physical body, but sometimes we want our mindset to be like less reps in the gym. So Carol, what would you say in terms of finding that new belief? I know you're brilliant. Those of you, if you work with Carol, she'll help you find it. But do you have any little game changing, trick that we want to play with today for people to start thinking, if I do need to change my beliefs to
Yes.
match the new game I want to win, where would we start?
So you first have to figure out why you're doing these behaviors that are so obviously getting in your way. So the question is, what is the upside of staying stuck?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to be stuck. I know you don't want to, but you are,
Right.
I am, we are. So once you find that out, what's the upside of staying stuck, or what's the downside of getting the success that you keep telling everybody you want?
Yep.
What's the downside? Oh, then I'd be visible. So what? Being visible is unsafe. There's the belief.
Right.
So then we have to swap the being visible is unsafe. So it's a couple of layers. We
Yes.
can also say, oh, I deserve great success. Does that land? It doesn't really land until you figure out, why are you staying stuck?
That's
Why are
right.
you getting in your own way? Why are you being still a perfectionist after all these years? And that's what you have to find out. And then ask the questions upside, downside. So the upside of staying stuck, or the downside of blasting through,
Love it.
there's no downside. Yes, there is, or we'd all be there.
There always is. In my, NLP training, it's like, what's the payoff, right? That's the question we would ask. It's like, what's my payoff to avoidance? What's the payoff to playing small? What's the payoff to being constantly working hard for whatever the result versus letting it, yeah, absolutely, some benefit cost, right? So I love this. So I want everyone to work on a homework this week coming out of you as we start Game Changer, is to look at if there's any area of your life where you're not getting the results you want. Understand that we're going to change that game, right? We're here to be game changers. You are a game. You wouldn't be listening to this show if you weren't. So now it's saying, okay, great. So then what are the behaviors, that are in my way, the saboteurs, right? Carol, you talk about that a lot in the book. And then what's my upside downside? What's the upside to this pattern? What's the downside if I actually changed it and got what I say I want, or, showed up that way? And then we can get to what the belief is. The belief is, because sometimes it's a family agreement. It's like, oh, I'd be betraying my mother if I was more visible, or it's, whatever. So I love this, love this, love this. Carol, we're going to put a link, everybody, because Carol is leading a live tapping series that is starting in a week, Carol, I believe. 1 week?
Monday the 16th.
Monday the 16th, a week from today. So if you want to be able to tap along with Carol and not wait till 2025 in the new year, we'll share that link and we'll put it in the show notes as well. So if you that's what you want to experience the whole thing. Carol, is there anything else you want people to know about, changing the game with a yes code? Like the yes code is so cool, right? Because you can find your yes, your no. Is there a maybe? I know people are going to ask. Is there a maybe? Yeah.
A maybe is a no for now.
A no for now. Perfect.
Right.
Okay.
So the yes code is about clarity. What do you want and why aren't you there yet? Then
Yeah.
we do the clearing, which is the really fun part. And
Right.
then you can find your internal yes and no, or your body yes and no, or whatever you call it. But when you have so much chatter and, well, my
Yeah.
mother would be upset and my brother might be upset, and what about my friends? And what if I get really successful? When you have all that noise, there is no way to get to your yes. And many of us were taught or trained to ignore our yes. So everybody has a yes and a no inside that is burning like a fire. But
Yeah.
what we told about it? Don't be silly. No, you can't. Don't be too big for your britches. Nobody from our family can be well. What were you told that shut down the yes? And that's part of my family story in the book too, is that I was raised in an
Yes.
alcoholic family. There's not a lot of, collaboration around your yes. So it's really fun to do it this way. Clarity is, you want to change the abundance game, get clear,
Yeah.
get clear about what's in the way, what's not in the way, what do you want, and why would you block it for yourself.
Yes. And then we can love ourselves. We don't have to be hard on ourselves. We just say, hey, look, self, good job. I was trying to do a good job here. I was trying to protect myself. I was trying to be loved. I was trying to belong. Because game changers do rock the boat, Carol. And something I love about your work, it's in the book. I love it in the work you facilitated with our community that I've personally got the benefit of doing with you. It's like, it does rock the boat to change the game.
Oh, yes, it does.
But I don't think at the end of our life want to sit there and think, oh, thank God I came here and didn't rock the boat. So glad that I came here and played it safe, made everyone else happy, sacrificed my own dreams and contribution to the world so that other people were comfortable. Like I want to hear if anyone here wants that to be the God. No, we know that's not the game-changing mentality. That's not what we're here to do. So Carol, thank you. Thank you for being a thought leader in this. You guys can all get your copy of the Yes Code, which of course I highly recommend, and you can go direct to the link we just shared and we'll put in the show notes if you're watching elsewhere and listening elsewhere, so that you can tap with Carol and get this cleared out so that you're able to change the game the way you want to. Yeah. So awesome, Carol. Anything else? Anything else you just want to share? You're excited about going into the new year?
Well, just one more thing about the process. Stop beating up on yourself because it's not doing you any good. It doesn't get you to the gym. It doesn't stop procrastination. It doesn't
Yeah.
get you to write your book. So stop that and say, let's ask the questions instead. And then it's information. And then you start to sparkle and you start to pop and you go, oh, now I know what I can do. Now
Yes.
I need to do, right?
So curious, we're going to be curious. We're going to be compassionate with ourselves as we rise into the greater game-changing work that we're here to do. We're starting it internally today with our beliefs, and then we're going to build on that into all the different ways we get to change the game. Carol, you are a game changer. You're going to continue to change the game in bigger and bigger ways as we go into this new year. Thank you for being here, and I'm excited for you all to avail yourself of this powerful, powerful, powerful work. So the book and Carol's link to the tapping series are available to you all now in all the places where this airs. And Carol, we're on the ride with you. Can't wait to change the game more as we go into the new year. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sarah.
Oh, good. So everyone, let's take a breath right now. Okay, we're gonna breathe. We have more we're gonna do on Game Changer today. So just give yourself a little pulse. Maybe write down what it is while we reset here for the next part of our process with Game Changer. And just give yourself a breath to write down what came through in that interview with Carol. What are you taking away that you need to know about your beliefs, about the upside downside of your behaviors? All right, just take a minute here and breathe. Okay, It's game changer time. We're going to continue with our work together by identifying how do we know that it's time to change the game? How do we know that we're here to be a game changer? All right. So as we start today, this brand new series on game changing, it's really good to know if we resonate, if we identify. So I put together a little bit of a diagnostic that we're going to do. And I'm going to read out a series of qualities, patterns, and I want you to give yourself a point for every one of these that is true for you. Okay, we're just going to get curious and check this out. So these are signs that you're destined to be a game changer on this planet, in this lifetime, and in this next 12 months. Okay, so the first one, you have more creative ideas in a day than a lot of people have in a month. Okay, so just give yourself a point if that is true for and about you. You care deeply about the transformation that you create in others. You care deeply about that impact on others. At least once in the last decade, you felt like you didn't fit in a group or community, even that was centered around something that you're passionate about. It's like, this is even kind of my thing, my theme, my niche. And there was a sense of not totally fitting in. Next one. The way that it's always been done, the status quo, in a lot of ways rankles you. Like you don't love the way everyone else is doing it necessarily, or the way it's always been done, the way maybe even authority figures, even when you respect them, tell you it needs to be or should be. Building on that, the next one, you feel frustrated by some of the leaders in your niche or industry, the way that they are doing things. Don't need to make them wrong or bad. It's just there's some frustration about, oh, it doesn't feel like the best way, or it doesn't feel like it's serving people the highest level. Next one, you fairly regularly have visions of how things could be done differently or better. This is all building the last three on each other. You kind of think of things as you're walking around in the shower, brushing your teeth, of the way it could be different. And final one, you often receive signs or nudges, little flashes of inspiration about what to do and create next. Like you're just getting these hits. They just come to you. You kind of couldn't stop them if you tried. So I want you to notice if you answered yes or gave yourself a check or a point for one or more. One or more, put it in the comments wherever you're watching this or streaming in. Those of you in our live audience, you can put it in the chat here on Zoom. One or more of those, even one, is a yes to you being called to be a game changer over this next year. Some of you had all of them plus bonus points, most of them, some of them, amazing. Okay. So that's really interesting. A lot of our live audience here, it's not a surprise at all or close to all. Okay. Even if you have one, it is an affirmation, a signal, a yes. If you wanted a sign today about this, right? If you wanted a sign today about being a game changer, this is your sign. This is what you're being called to be. And I don't think any of us would look at our world and think there aren't games that need to change in this current time more than ever, that there are games that need to change and they get to change, right? So for those of you that got a yes, that got a 1 or more in that quick assessment that we just did, the good news is it's game on, right? It's game on, using our game metaphor here, game language and parlance that we're going to be using over this series. The perhaps not as good news is it's not going to be as easy to ignore that, right? It's not going to be as easy to pretend, oh, I could do things the way I've been doing them or the way they've always been done or the way, because we outed ourselves a little bit. And that's the point. That's the point of the first step in this process, this series that we're doing on being a game changer, is to own and claim that you are up for it. You are going to go for it. And you don't have to know how. We don't have to know what it looks like. That's all what we're going to be exploring together over the next 8 weeks in this series. But right now, our work is to say, am I being called to change the game? Am I saying yes to being a game changer this year? And if it is, and as we go into, a new year, it's already standing and stepping into, perhaps more fully than we have before, of that identity of game changer. So I want us just today to get this moving, to activate. Today we're activating, first identifying, is this for me? Am I being called to be a game changer over the next year? And if that answer is yes, then we're just going to do the very first step of activating the identity and the mindset of a game changer. So unfortunately, what does not get to come with us as we say yes to being bigger, if you're already being a game changer, maybe you're going to do it in a more significant, impactful way. If you haven't stood in this space, welcome to the club. We're going to do it together, right? But in order to activate that state and activate the energy of that and activate the synchronicity of the universe to bring you the opportunities to change the game, we want to think about what we are not going to continue doing, right? If you've ever done the exercise, stop, start, continue, I'm going to give that to you as an action step coming out of today's episode. What, as a game changer, are you going to stop doing? And I want everyone to think of at least one thing that they're going to get to stop doing as you step into being a powerful game changer in the next year. So I'm going to share a few very candid examples from my own list to just give you an idea, and then we're going to do this right now and you come up with at least one. So something I am not going to continue doing to be a more empowered game changer in the new year, starting today, is I don't get to fly under the radar. That is not going to work. We can't stand out and fit in. So combining them, Freudian slip for sure, right? We can't stand out and fit in at the same time. And game changers stand out. You need to stand out and have your message differentiated, your content differentiated, your book, all the things that you're going to have to be that thought leader, that game-changing thought leader. But we also want to fit in because we don't want the judgment or the fear of losing anything and all the things, that you all know that we've discussed. So what is something you are not going to continue in order to be a yes as a powerful game changer? I want everyone to come up with at least one thing. I took a little mini poll with some people over the last week on this, and here's some of the top greatest hits. Okay, here's the greatest hits when we avoid being a game changer, when we hide from being a game changer. Playing small, and that's defined by you and you alone. You know when you're playing full out and when you are hiding, keeping it safe, flying under the radar, as I just described, right? So playing small. Making excuses to take risks and create new things because that's for people who are more well-known, more famous, have more followers, are younger or are older, or have different degrees, or went to a different school, or look different, or a different size, or a different shape, or different this. I could go on and on and on, right? Game changers no longer can afford to indulge in that kind of excuse making. And it's uncomfortable to call myself on that. And it may or may not be for you too. You may be more evolved than I am. And you may not need to call yourself on that stuff, but I know I get to, right? Because no matter where you're coming into this next level of being a game changer, you might have already changed a lot of games. I know I have. I've changed games personally, internally, in my family, in my community, through a lot of things. So I could sort of pull off probably saying, "Oh yeah, I'm being a game changer." But I know if I'm playing all out. I know if I'm bringing everything to the field. I know if I'm so I want everyone to think about what is it you are no longer going to engage in because it does not match with you being a game changer. So playing small, hiding, under the radar, invisible, is it going along with the way others do it? So you get that sense of acceptance and appropriateness and all of that. But I'm going to guide you in this series to identify what are the things in your industry, your community, your niche, your world that get to change, right? That's what we're going to explore in this series. What is it that gets to be different? Because it's not working and it's not serving people and it's not serving our world. And then I want everyone to come up with today. I want us to seal this yes to being a game changer. We don't have to know how it looks. We're going to know some things we're not doing, right? We've all identified at least one that we're no longer going to indulge in because it doesn't match us really being the game changer we came here to be. And then I want us to identify what is one internal game that gets to change so that you are able to fully be empowered as the game changer to others and your industry and your world. So the way we look at that is, what game might you be playing? And the way we know is to look at our results of this year. We can look at the financial game we're playing by looking at our bank account. Are we playing a game of abundance or are we playing a game of scarcity and lack? Are we playing in terms of our visibility? Are we playing a game of, visible, powerful, contributing, or are we playing a game of sort of hiding under the radar? We know that we can just look at the external three-dimensional world to see what's going on in the 5D. So what's one game that gets to change in the coming year? Could be something in your money game, your health game, your mindset game, your visibility game, your impact game, relationships. We're going to start with, you can pick what, you might be changing lots of games. That's fine. And later in the series, we'll look at what's happening in your industry and your world. But right now, we're going to pick an internal game that gets to change starting now. We're not waiting for a New Year's Day or a new month. We're right here, right now. And I'd love to hear any of you that want to share it. Put it in the comments or the chats or wherever you're listening to the show. What's the game you're changing internally first? You don't have to know how to change it. You're going to identify which one it is. And then we're going to offer that up to this new identity of game changer and say, guide me through it. Show me how to change this. And then let's take a minute to get kind of excited because we want to have some buy-in to continue this journey of being a game changer. What's possible for you when you start winning the new game, right? If you've been in a scarcity game or an overworking game or an invisibility game or an unworthiness game, those games suck, but we did them for a reason, right? We did them, as we just talked about, to protect ourselves, to take care of ourselves. But when we change that game, like, how fun is it going to be to win your new game of abundance, worthiness, love, empowerment, confidence, positive impact, visibility, Yes, so good. Yeah, we get to be bold, we get to be daring, releasing outcomes because it's about how we are showing up, right? So good. And then I want everyone to let's embody. We're going to talk more about this in the series, but I love Tony Robbins' 3 S's of change. We change our state, we change the story, which is the game. We're calling it right now the game. Sometimes we call it the story. And then we change the strategy we've been using. The strategy comes at the end of the 3 because when we change the state, which is like how the energy, the feeling, and we change the story or the game, we naturally are going to either we will attract the perfect strategy, we'll be able to implement the strategy that we've always known was good, that we've just never been able to act on because of all the stuff in the way, or we will discover it or invent it, right? The strategy is going to come. And we will talk strategy in this series. We will talk about game-changing strategies as we go through the next 8 weeks. So we did the middle one a little bit internally. What's the internal game we're going to change? We're going to talk about the external game we're going to change too. Now I want us all to lock this in, right? We are using somatic, we are using the body, mind, and spirit to do this game-changing work, to be the game-changing leader, to resource ourselves. So what is the posture, right? You could think of this as a power pose, a physical motion that represents you as a game-changing leader in this next year. Okay. So what is your, state, story, strategy are the 3 S's. State, story, strategy. So our state is activated by our hormones can change just by changing our posture. So what is going to be, we want this to be an anchor that we're going to come back to for the whole series. So you might do a power pose like Superwoman, hands on hips. You might do the Usain Bolt Olympic victory up in the air. Woo, right? You might do the Oprah. I always love the Oprah. You just like hands back, just like, yep, right? Maybe that's your game-changing stance. Maybe it's Joan of Arc with some kind of, like a big flag, or maybe it's a warrior. Like you decide what represents, what is going to get you in state before you're doing the game-changing work, before you're doing the new strategies. What is going to evoke the state of game changer? Just give yourself a minute to breathe and see if you get a posture, a gesture. It could just be like, right? Maybe it's like something like you're doing like a boom, like a power punch, right? It could be like namaste. Like I'm a game changer when I'm completely calm and centered in an equanimity and neutrality. And that is how I change the game. You decide. And somatic, right? Somatic is of the body, right? So we're using the physical body because the research out of Harvard with Amy Cuddy's research is that even 2 minutes of a power pose or we'll call these, our state changing, state addressing pose changes the hormones and biology in our body. So the studies where people would they took two equally talented and credentialed groups of people that were applying for a job. And group A, they all had the same, resume, credentials, work experience, everything else was equalized. And they had one group just go in and do the interview, and they had another group go in and they power posed before the interview in the bathroom for 2 minutes. Right? So power posing can be, again, victory, chest expanded, chin lifted, one of these poses. Your game-changing pose might not be a traditional power pose. It's whatever it is for you that's going to help you say, I'm a freaking game changer this year. I'm changing the game in me. I'm changing the game in my people. I'm changing the game in this world for better. Right? And we're using the body. So who do you think got the job offers? The interviewers had no idea. The interviewers were not in on the study. So they just took the 2 groups of equally qualified candidates. One group just went in and did an interview as they normally would. The other group power posed for just 2 minutes in the bathroom before going into the interview. Who got the job? 100% of the people offered for the job were the power posers. It's ridiculous. That's crazy. It's crazy. Why? Not because it's some kind of crazy, magic thing. It's because when we get in state using our body, mind, and spirit of the energy that we want to be our come from, which in this case is being a game changer, writing the game-changing books, giving the game-changing talks, creating the game-changing YouTube videos, being a game changer in your transformational work with your clients or students, customers, whatever work you do. When we get into state as a game changer, what happens in that power posing or that state invoking time is that our cortisol drops, our testosterone rises, our sort of high beta brain waves that are all start to calm down, and we rise the alpha theta waves in the brain. This is not in Amy Cuddy's research. This is in other research that I've done. But they did more around the hormone levels changing, but the brain waves absolutely change. Okay, you go into the genius zone. Alpha theta waves, when they start working together, creates the genius zone. Game changers create and engage from the genius zone. Yes. Okay, so today is about owning. I am called to be a game changer. Being a game changer is my destiny. I'm going to start becoming excited about that and aligning myself, body, mind, spirit, energy, all the beliefs, right? We've discussed here with this energy of the game changing leader. And I'm going to unleash my full power, my full creativity, my full love, my full passion, my full gifts to the world. I'm no longer holding that back. And I'm going to be a force for good on this planet in this next year in a way that unlike anything I've ever been before. And we're going to use the energy of game changer to get into that. So no big deal. You know what? No big deal. Just no small thing. No. So this is going to be fun. And we get to make it fun because we're going to do it together. We're going to do it over this series. And today is about saying, yes, I'm called to be a game changer. What is a game internally that I'm going to change? What are the signs that I'm destined to be it? And what is the state that what am I going to use as an anchor so that I do state, story, which is game, strategy? Yeah. And we're not going to be in perfect game changing, high vibration, energy, identity state all the time. We just get to notice when we're in it and when we're not. And we're going to start to practice over this series. What are the ways on the physical, emotional, psychological, and strategic level that we are going to line up with being a game changer? Now, I would never leave you just hanging, right? We created a new experience to guide you through it. We have a playbook for this. All right. So if anyone wants to just really take this on, really come on this journey, really fully dive in. You don't even have to wait till the next episode, right? We're going to give you, the team will share on all the places. We'll put it in the show notes. We'll put it here in our live audience on the social platforms if you want the Game Changer Playbook so that you can start doing more of the work, the assessments, like what does it look like? And it is our gift to you. It is free. All right. So there is it's your game-changing blueprint. It's right there. And we'll post it everywhere that the show airs as well. All right. So I'm excited. I'm excited for us all to do this. I want everybody to take your pose. If you've thought of it yet, if you're not sure, just do hands on the hips and lift your chin and expand your chest. If you're not sure what your game changer posture is going to be, just do a power pose and just say to yourself, I am a game changer. Let's do it 3 times. I am a game changer. I am a game changer. Take a breath, seal it in. All right. You've done more than enough for today. That's the start. Make sure to get the blueprint so that those of you who don't want to wait until next episode can start doing the work of this series, and then we'll go through the entire process together. I'm so excited. Yes, I love it. Woo, we got our live audience here going, game changer. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. All right. Until next time, you've got your blueprint to guide you in between, and then come back for the next episode and we will take the next steps together. Great job, everybody.